Crankers, welcome to Crank It Up. I'm Jim Price, and today I want to assemble the Avengers. The Avengers are a faction in the princess archetype, possessing 6 unique powerful characters that trade quantity for quality. I think it's great to treat the princess as a formula. I know that Nick Andrusiak's Guardians of the Galaxy custom faction uses the same structure, but the Avengers offer a twist on that template through the introduction of what I call their signature actions. These are actions that take one form but grow stronger through the presence of their specific Avenger, which is necessary to prevent draw order from really slamming this faction into a brick wall. So it makes sense to break down this faction into 3 parts: the Avengers themselves, their signature actions, and everything else. For each Avenger, we need to consider whether or not their action creates a Blossom Paradox, my phenomenon where a card having a higher ceiling prevents it from being used, because you cannot bring yourself to waste it. What complicates this question is the fact that the Avengers have character recursion, so it's not like you can just use the action after the character has been used, because you could get those characters back. A lot of players have complained that Hulk should be stronger because Hulk is the strongest there is, but that really doesn't apply in a game that requires balance. Besides, Hulk is great as it is, as a power activation character, offering a chance to meet or exceed King Rex, while King Rex not being weak either. Hulk is a great finisher, but also adds the same amount of power creep as any other Avenger, so he could actually lead. His signature action is Hulk Smash, which can destroy any number of base modifiers. Hulk allows you to also destroy the base, which indirectly discards the modifiers, which is unavoidable, getting past a card like Steam Queen. I would say that Hulk Smash is a nice to have, while destroying a base is strong. If you have Hulk, the base should be winnable, and the denser base deck makes it harder to predict what you might get. But there are moments where you can hope to upgrade for more VP. Iron Man is basically a 5-power scoundrel who can move himself and carry another of your characters with him. Iron Man is great for a bait and switch played terminally. You seed an Avenger on an undesired base, like Hulk, and you now have 10 or 12 power to swipe in and steal a base with moderate presence. Iron Man's signature action is Repulsor Boots, which you should have no problem playing. In fact, given the upside of this action to correct an overpayment, I would absolutely hold on to it for that situation, possibly getting a double score. Repulsor Boots' ability to move Iron Man as a special makes me wish that his talent was split between a talent and an ongoing, where the ongoing is that Iron Man can move someone with him when he moves, but that would have been deemed too much for new players. Thor is the inspiration for the signature action because of Mjolnir. Mjolnir is Thor's personal daisy chain. He can search for Mjolnir, and he can move it. I love daisy chain, and this is a free transfer that really helps with power activation. Thor is unique in that there is no ordering problem. Mjolnir can be played early because Thor can move it, and if it gets discarded, he gets it back. And if Thor goes first, he gets Mjolnir, making this the ideal signature card and the best internal synergy. Black Widow is a mini ninja master, taking out a quick target. Having an on-play ability, she is great to lead with and take out an engine minion, and can easily be grabbed by Iron Man. Her signature action is Widow's Bite, which I don't think is worth saving because of its nature as a special. If Widow's Bite can steal a base, use it right then, regardless of Black Widow's presence. Her self-power boost is nice in theory, but hasn't been noticeable for me, and this is by far the most minor benefit. Hawkeye is a deck sifting card, netting you 1 extra card while improving your overall hand. Hawkeye's arrows, however, gets a tremendous boost from Hawkeye, as you can now play one or both of those actions. This to me is a must, especially since extra plays are optional, so there is no downside. And Hawkeye's own ability lets you see 3 extra cards, increasing the chance of him seeing his own signature action. And that leaves Captain America and his shield. Captain America's ability is straightforward, if oddly placed. As a character-starved faction, the Avengers won't get much out of his ability because he doesn't buff himself, and even though Captain Amazing has the same problem, that 1 power feels jarring to me. His shield provides a decent regular boost, and the extra power is good. The problem is that Captain America is a talent, while his shield is a constant, which is power creep unless played terminally, which is a full moon that requires Captain America. But the defensive ability is nice, since almost all antagonism in Marvel comes from actions and not characters, so you run the risk of wasting the power. Fortunately, there is a workaround in Modular Tech. In fact, I'm convinced that Cap's shield is the only reason Modular Tech can justify its existence, since this faction has 3 modifiers total, one of which can already be moved, and one which isn't really worth moving. So Modular Tech is the saving grace that lets you use Cap shields early, and the extra action prevents it from being a whimper in terms of terminal plays. So what's left? The Avengers have some important character recursion and a few utility cards, but the remaining cards fall into the deck sifting category. And as I said before, I am really not a fan of deck sifting in Smash Up, because Smash Up should not have that many cards worth sifting. Ironically, if I were to sift cards, it would be Avenger actions. Yes, deck sifting does help align the signature actions, but as you can see, it's not always critical. Strategize highlights my problems with deck sifting with some really unfortunate wording, and it's a double feature. I have routinely said I'm not crazy about Mystic Studies, but this is a case where Mystic Studies is much better. And if I'm saying a card I don't like is a better card, then there's definitely a problem in my mind. Strategize basically implies that 2 of 4 cards will be worth putting on the bottom of your deck, because you are forced to. So if you draw 3 or more good cards, you are basically costing yourself one of them, just so that you could influence what you draw 1 turn sooner. Because if you liked cards 3 and 4, that is what you would be getting. In every case I can think of, drawing 2 cards is better, because you see the same 4 cards, and if you have too many, you can just discard the cards you would have sifted. And Jarvis doesn't make sense in the Avengers context either, because you're not going to discard a 5, so you are looking at your signature actions, which defeats the purpose of insulating them, or you have to discard the general utility cards. The obvious pairing for Avengers is superheroes, because of the resemblance to superhero princesses, so it's not worth covering. I also think that werewolves are an obvious pairing, and since I'll be talking about werewolves a lot in this series, I won't cover them either. So who benefits from the Avengers? Penguins have a lot of anti-synergies because they lack any Power 3 minions that the Penguins expect, but overall this combo is still very strong. Outside of Black Widow, who has a very critical May in her destruction ability, you really can't go wrong with any outcome for the hatching of an Avenger. When you are character starved, playing from the deck is very powerful. Additionally, the character recursion of Avengers Assemble makes playing from the deck very powerful as you thin yourself to Avengers only. It will be hard to bring out Emperor Penguin normally, but you have a wish for wings that work. Captain America makes sense for the Penguin Swarm, Pebble Gift likes Modular Tech, and if you love deck sifting so much, you get Secret Mission as well. Since Iron Man can have a sheep-like ability, having the actual sheep is the next best thing. The Movement Swarm is obviously great for Captain America, but Repulsor Boots can set up a Full Sail-like play. Their signature actions are also a good trade candidate for Wood for Sheep, along with Strategize because it's bad. Should you need to, Mjolnir can be used with Ram to return a troublesome character. Iron Man can be a great setup for On the Lam, potentially bringing a herd of flock with him to serve as a large reset. Given the number of high-power minions in the Avengers, sharing yourself is not the worst idea, since it gets you a card and avoids power creep. Superhero sheep are really strong in March Smashness, and the Avengers can replicate many, but not all of the same synergies. I have to give credit where credit is due, and the Avengers can actually benefit from the Polynesian Voyagers' forced spread out. This is in part due to the bases offering a lot of movement themselves, increasing the in-house options to overcome the spread. But Iron Man can also pick up and move a powerful character, and the Avengers benefit from having more bases in play because of their naturally high power. Their lower quantity also benefits Shark Tattoo, which is a good Black Widow bait card because of the fact that Black Widow's special can help stave off someone trying to steal the base. Sending a 9-power Hulk into another base is not a bad play either, especially since other Avenger cards can easily make Hulk an 11 before Sun Tattoo, and you are sending him into a base that already has a good head start. I also like time-traveling Avengers, or basically Avengers Endgame, the Smash-Up deck. The jumpers help solve character starvation issues by ensuring you always have something to play. But the Avengers have some very subtly good do-over targets. Because Captain America buffs everyone else, he has nothing to lose from do-over or Dr. Wen. Deck sifting can make sense in the extreme sense when you consider time travelers have a lot of bad cards, but can also put cards back on the bottom. There's some time walk spam potential with Hawkeye's arrows continually milling your actions, made repeatable by It's Astounding and Repeater Perfect. But you can also spread out your Avengers and use Iron Man to start collecting them, or just do over them directly, and the time travelers have long suffered from lacking power, which the Avengers definitely provide. One thing I like about the signature actions is that they run the gamut. You have standard actions, specials, character modifiers, and each one has a unique synergy opportunity that can be explored in a high-risk, high-reward setting. I would be remiss if I did not talk about the complexity rating, which is listed as low. I disagree with this rating because it implies that Smash Up is a C-based, Smash-based game. The Avengers also require knowing your cards well because of their internal dependencies. Since I talk about power creep constantly, I am well aware of playing yourself out of a base, and the Avengers can easily have this problem. But the complexity is just a label and doesn't change anything about how the faction works. If you like diverse character factions that require skill and precision, definitely check out the Avengers. What do you think of the Avengers? Which character is your favorite? And which signature action goes best with their character? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let's shut it down.